So, well, I think our weather people perhaps earned a paycheck this year.
It depends. Some
They've
of them,
earned
yes.
a lot. You're so funny. There have been a lot of severe weather in Colorado. We've had large hail, thunderstorms galore, and tornadoes.
So is the year special when it comes to severe weather? Let's talk about it with Chris Bianchi. You know, we're always trying to compare seasons, compare years. It seems like this has been a pretty wild one.
Yeah, Kim and Tom, and I think the thing we've been saying throughout much of the season is that the last few years have been exceptionally low in terms of severe weather totals. This year, though, is now moving its way into the record books, and I'll explain that here in just a second. But first of all, this kind of comes on the heels of that EF3 tornado that we saw in Yuma County back on Tuesday night. First of all, this was the strongest tornado in Yuma County since at least 1950. We had maximum winds about 150 miles an hour. Key thing with this passed about 1 to 2 miles just outside of the town of Yuma, a town of about, 2,500 people. This was a very, very close call for friends out in Yuma. So fortunately, this one just stayed just outside the town. We know there was some damage there. Certainly thinking about the folks that had been impacted by that tornado, but it was a very close call with a very and unusually strong tornado. Now, in Colorado, so far this year, statewide, we've seen 76 tornado reports. Now, some of those are duplicates, but long story short, this is the most tornadoes that we've had reported statewide since at least 2000. So this is multiple decades now going back that we haven't seen this many tornadoes. Also, we haven't had this many strong tornadoes. An EF3 or above considered to be a strong tornado. We've had 2 EF3s so far this year statewide, and that makes it the most since 1993. And it's not just tornadoes either. It's been a very busy overall severe weather year. You might remember this back on Tuesday night as well. We probably had our largest hailstone on record in Colorado. This is with that same Yuma tornado cell. We had a 5-inch measured. I'm not sure you can pick it out there, but take my word for it. This is a 5-inch diameter hailstone. Folks, that is bigger, and I'm dating myself here. This is bigger than the size of a DVD. This is massive, bigger than a grapefruit. Massive, massive hail that we saw. This will, again, likely set a state record. And individually, severe weather reports, we've had over 1,400 statewide. Put that into context. That's the most since they began tallying individual severe weather reports. That includes tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds. You add that all up, statewide in Colorado, we've picked up more than 1,400. For a bit of context as well, the number 2 spot, about 1,100 severe weather reports. So this is more than 1,400 and more than 300 more than number 2. And again, folks, it's still the middle of August. We still got a ways to go in the rest of the year. And so the question I keep getting, and I'll kind of round things out with this, is why? Now, there's no individual reason, but the main reason is we've just had a very consistently wet year. And when you've got more moisture, you've got more energy to work with, and the results, it's been the amount of severe weather we've seen. And so far, since the start of the year, it's our second wettest start to a calendar year on record. So again, overall here, Kim and Tom, I would say just the main reason we've had such a busy severe weather year, we've just had lots of chances. We've just had nonstop severe storms basically all season long.
And it keeps on coming.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like we've gone a day without some part of the state that hasn't been impacted.
That's exactly it. It's usually we'll kind of get a lull for 2-3 weeks. We just haven't had that lull going back to the beginning of May.
The 5-inch hailstone measuring device, most of us have a ruler or a tape measure.
I know.
He had a hail measurer.
Yeah, and funny enough, in order to verify that as a record, they have to put that into a cooler, which then goes to a freezer, which then gets handed over to a climatologist. So thank goodness this guy, Dan Fitz, who took this photo, he went out there and had that measuring tool to verify that we had that 5-inch hailstone.
No, a lot of us have coolers and freezers. We don't have a hail measurer.
Ready.
Nice way to go, Dan. All right, Chris, thanks.